Hey everybody, how's it going? Today, let's take an up-close and personal, in-depth look at the all-new 2014 Range Rover Supercharged autobiography. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the Range Rover. We'll start it up so the engine, get an exhaust clicking over the performance data, as we'll show you a bunch of the unique aspects of the interior as well as exterior. And before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to extend a big thanks and special shout out to Bentley Gold Coast, a part of the Gold Coast Auto Gallery located in Chicago, Illinois, for allowing me the opportunity to film and providing the Range Rover featured in today's video. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. Now, like many premium vehicles this day and age, the Range Rover also features a standard remote smart key access system that you can just keep in your pocket, and utilizing the touch sensors on all four of the door handles, you're able to lock and unlock the vehicle. To lock, just tap the little depressed portion in the handle. Your mirrors automatically tilt in, and to unlock, just grab it. There's a touch sensor located behind that automatically unlocks the vehicle. The exterior color is a deep metallic blue known as Baltic blue, featuring an autobiography-specific two-tone navy semi-aniline perforated leather interior with light cream accents across the center console, doors, and dash. And along with that smart key system, the vehicle also features standard push-button ignition via the button in the dash. To start, just put your foot on the brake and hit it to go. Potent sound from the Supercharged V8. The newest gen Range Rovers feature more communicative electric assist, variable ratio rack and pinion steering that helps improve input precision and smoothness, not to mention gradual increases in steering effort with speed for better response to the steering input, all fed through the autobiography's two-tone leather 4-spoke wheel with satin aluminum, a stitched airbag cover, and your multifunction controls side to side. The standard gearbox is now a ZF-sourced 8-speed electronically controlled automatic, now dialed into a Jaguar-like rotary dial in the center console. This widely used transmission has a key benefit by working to help bump fuel economy a bit, as well as help improve acceleration with closer spaced gears. There's also a sport mode that causes the gears to be held longer, in addition to adding steering weight and altering the adaptive dampers. You can shift the vehicle manually via the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. Now, one of the first things you'll notice is Range Rover's new 12.3-inch thin-film transistor liquid crystal display instrument cluster. A lot of these digitalized analog clusters are becoming a lot more popular in brands these days, especially in Jaguar and now in Mercedes-Benz. Cadillac's also using the technology for their newest lineup. What's cool, and there's a wide variety of applications for these systems, is that you still have a traditional analog cluster, but you're able to pack a lot more information into a highly customizable digitalized unit. So you have your tachometer off to the left that also displays the current gear you're in, and also the Supercharged logo. Temperature, vehicle fuel and speedometer off to the right with your clock and outside temperature up top. There's also a driver information system located in between the two clusters, and I'll go over that a little bit later in the video. Now, this particular Range Rover features the optional 360-degree stereoscopic camera setup. So if you put the vehicle in reverse, of course, you have your standard backup camera with guidance lines that automatically adjust as you turn the wheel. You can also change the view for that particular one to more of a fisheye setup. While on this particular screen, if you tap it, it brings us some other options for extra guidance. You can click that button up top for the camera homepage. Now this is where it gets pretty cool. Now, like I said, these are the specialty views right here, which you can access via this button. Curve view, junction, as well as trailer, which is basically your backup camera. Those are the split cameras on either side of the front bumper, and underneath the side mirrors. It also has some custom setups, as well as some other options. Definitely pretty neat. Makes parking such a large vehicle a whole lot easier. Then we're going to flip on the automatic LED projector headlamps, as well as the LED front and rear parking sensors. Hazards are located in the center stack. Naturally, all 4 windows are fully automatic and also feature acoustic laminated glass. So let's go ahead and check out the exterior, shall we? The interior will also chime a time, letting you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob. The original Range Rover was first introduced for 1970. Since then, it's molded into one of the most refined off-road capable SUVs on the market, able to take you to a greater extent of adventures while surrounding you in opulent luxury of the highest standards. Now, in its 4th generation, the Range Rover was all new for 2013. It's not only undergone an intense lightweight aluminum diet, but combined with further enhancements of its permanent 4-wheel drive system, the new Rover is now more capable, has better fuel economy, and gets a big gain in performance. For starters, this makes the new Rover the first in the marque and segment to be constructed entirely out of aluminum. The one-piece aluminum body shell rides on an aluminum unibody composed of pressed, cast, extruded, and rolled members. The body is joined to aluminum subframes in the front and rear, while the vehicle's B-pillar is further reinforced by composite materials. The rest of the body panels, including the doors and crash protection beams, are also aluminum. The goal was to not only make it lighter but stronger than before. While the new model is slightly larger, it weighs less than the outgoing model by an astounding 700 pounds or so. It seems nearly unheard of to see such a drastic reduction between the 2 generations, but it just goes to show you the huge benefit of using aluminum over traditional steel. In fact, 50% of the aluminum is recycled, all bonded and riveted together for the most part versus traditional welding. With carryover power plants, it's also easy to see how less weight makes such a significant difference in performance. All models are now quicker, with improvements in 0 to 60 times by 0.7 seconds for the base 5-liter V8, while an improvement in 0.8 seconds for the Supercharged. Fuel economy and range also improves by about 9%. Overall, the vehicle is longer by 1.1 inches, while wheelbase lengthens by 1.6 inches. This, combined with better utilization of interior space, gives the Rover an extra 4.7 inches of leg space for rear seat passengers. If that's not enough, there's even a new long wheelbase version with optional reclining seats. A lot of measures were actually taken to refine the Rover by reducing noise, vibration, and harshness. Up front, the now thinner air springs have been softened a bit thanks to a new material. The adaptive air suspension monitors the changes in vehicle movement 500 times per second to help maintain composure, while the isolated engine mounts, laminated glass, and sound-absorbing foam ducts in the HVAC system help make the interior the most quiet to date. Obviously, the most important aspect of the Rover is its off-road ability. It's now able to go further than ever before. For one, the ducted air intakes once located on the side have been relocated above the fenders concealed by the hood, which increases fording depth by 7.8 inches to an impressive 35.4 inches of water. The hallmark of the permanent 4-wheel drive system is the latest Terrain Response 2 system that has 5 different modes you can select, including General, Grass, Gravel, Snow, Mud, Ruts, Sand, and Rock Crawl. An automatic mode can also be selected that adapts the mode based on the vehicle's terrain sensors, modulating the engine, transmission, and center differential locking simultaneously. It's also able to react faster than before thanks to a new computer processor. On top of that, you can even manually engage a 2-speed low-range transfer case for increased grip. A rear locking differential is optional with Supercharged models. Wheel travel, though, has been increased to 10.2 inches in front and 12.2 inches in the rear, which lead to improved approach and departure angles, now 26 degrees and 24.6 degrees respectively, or 35.5 and 29.5 degrees respectively for the highest off-road height. Breakover angle is 28.3 degrees. This is identical for all Range Rovers as they now share a common low-profile exhaust, even the Supercharged variants. Road handling has also been improved with active roll bars, variable dampers, and corner brake control. The ride is actually said to be more composed with less body roll through corners. Normal ground clearance is 8.68 inches and as high as 11.63 inches in its highest setting. The first step above the normal raises at 1.6 inches, while an additional step raises it a further 1.35 inches. Once previously limited to 31 miles an hour, the Range Rover can now drive up to 50 miles an hour in its tallest setting before it automatically hunkers down to road height. A flat underbody also helps improve fuel economy with less aerodynamic drag and helps protect vital components while off pavement. In addition to the wide variety of suspension adjustments, there's also a host of electronic safety features that include hill descent control, gradient release control, hill start assist, dynamic stability control, electronic traction control, and roll stability control with dynamic lean response. Styling is where the new model departs in a big but subtle way. The calling card of a Range Rover has always been its unmistakable presence, with a large following that led to a careful evolution over the years. While it still retains that classic shape, it's less rectangular than before. The edges are softer, more refined, more aerodynamic, and above all, elegant. The signature floating roof features an optional panoramic sunroof, the largest ever fitted to a Range Rover, and slopes back towards the rear. The vents up front and across the side have been updated to a cleaner look. In fact, the side vents are actually no longer functional, but a continued styling adaptation from the third generation. This is due to the relocated duct vents like we talked about earlier. The front and rear lights feature LEDs and are wrapped around the body. The front lights actually feature bi-xenon projector units and adaptive high beams. Those three slats in the door meet with a piece of trim towards the bottom of the rocker which actually flows into the rear quarter panels and visually draws your eyes across the more defined wheel arches. Coefficient of drag is an astonishingly low 0.34 for the European diesel model. Supercharged US models are 0.36. Of course, Range Rover has plenty of safety tech. The available adaptive cruise system has the ability to bring it to a full stop and then start up again. It can also park itself. An auto start-stop feature for better fuel economy, blind spot monitoring, closing vehicle sensing, and intelligent emergency braking help keep you aware of the surroundings, in addition to rear cross-traffic detection and the 360-degree camera system. The Range Rover Autobiography features a unique set of 14-spoke, 22-inch diamond-turned aluminum alloy wheels with dark painted gray inserts. Wrapped in Continental cross-contact LX Sport tires, 275/40s at each corner. Brakes consist of 4-wheel ventilated disc brakes measuring 15 by 1.3 inches in front with 6-piston fixed Brembo calipers, and 14.4 by 1 inches in the rear with single-piston sliding calipers. With this setup, average stops from 60 miles an hour are achieved in 118 feet. Not bad for such a large vehicle. As far as the suspension, it rides on a fully adjustable air ride setup as we touched on earlier with variable dampers. Independent double wishbones in front with the stabilizer bar, and the rear consists of a multi-link design with anti-roll bar as well as the variable dampers. Max towing capability for the Range Rover is 7,716 pounds. Overall length is 196.8 inches with a width of 81.6 inches and a height of 72.3 inches. It rides on a 115-inch wheelbase. Total curb weight, depending on how equipped, is between 51 and 5,500 pounds.
So we're going to pop the hood.
The Autobiography and Supercharged models carry over the same supercharged and intercooled 5-liter all-aluminum V8 found in last year's model, but it's considerably quicker thanks to less vehicle weight and the new 8-speed gearbox. It features double overhead camshafts, 4 valves per cylinder, variable intake and exhaust valve timing, in addition to direct injection. With max boost of 9.1 psi and a 9.5:1 compression ratio, the Eaton Supercharger bumps horsepower to an impressive 510 at 6,500 RPM and 461 pound-feet of torque at 2,500 RPM. This translates to 0 to 60 times of 4.7 seconds, which is 0.4 seconds faster than the previous generation, and quarter-mile times of 13 seconds at 108 miles an hour. Top speed is limited to 155 miles an hour. As far as fuel economy, with a 27.7-gallon tank and filled with required premium fuel, expect an EPA estimated range between 13 miles to a gallon in the city and 19 on the highway. The all-new interior for the Range Rover is its biggest forte in refinement. While looks and feel have always been top-notch, it's been cleaned up significantly for a simpler, more elegant design. Everywhere you look, you'll see supple hand-stitched leather covering the majority of the surfaces, not to mention genuine woods as well as polished metals. All in all, there are 17 different interior color schemes, 3 wood veneers, 3 headliner colors, and 37 exterior paint options. 22 are autobiography only, in addition to other unique bits found throughout. All of your electric accessories are located on the door, including 3-person memory as well as power folding mirrors. The seats in the autobiography are wrapped in the softest semi-aniline leather with perforations down the middle to provide ventilation for the heating and cooling functions. They provide 20-way power adjustment, including 4-way power lumbar and bolstering adjustment to fit just about any body type, not to mention optional massage. They're really quite comfortable with padding in just all of the right places, and while they are a little bit firm, it does support you quite well. Of course, plenty of airbags found throughout, as well as fully adjustable headrests for both the front and rear seats that you can bring out to help cradle your head. As we continue down across the threshold, you have unique autobiography labeled aluminum door sill plaques, as well as aluminum pedals. This power tilt telescoping steering wheel as standard and also features heat in this particular model. And when you take a closer look at the dash, you really see some of the intricate detailing of the hand-stitched leather with the two-tone shades across the top portion in the middle, broken up across the sides by high-gloss black piano veneer. All finished off with an autobiography-specific leather headliner with perforations in key areas and a full panoramic glass roof.
So let's go ahead and see if she sounds.
So, we're going to shut her up. Of course, solid, nice tight feeling panels. There are 3 available Meridian audio systems available for the Range Rover. This autobiography features the top-tier 1700-watt 29-speaker 3D surround sound system with speakers located just about everywhere possible. It produces a sound reproduction almost unlike anything I've ever heard, truly immersing you with sound of impeccable quality. All of that is fed through very intuitive 8-inch LCD mobile media navigation telemetrics interface with touchscreen capabilities, also drastically reducing the amount of buttons found in the previous generation into a convenient screen. Leather-wrapped A-pillars, as well as stitched accents coming around all of the grip handles. They're also wrapped in leather. A very nice, well-tailored feeling. For a uniform appearance, the visors on the outside are also wrapped in leather, but the inner portion, as well as the auxiliary shade, are wrapped in Alcantara. The vanity mirrors are also LED illuminated. The beautiful stitched accenting completely surrounds the panoramic sunroof, with accents as you come across. The middle, around the top stack, is also perforated, with your speakers located on either side for that true concert sound feeling. Auto-dimming rearview mirror, of course, as standard, with a 3-position garage home link. The top stack is also accented in the brushed aluminum, as well as black piano lacquer trim. You have your microphone for your hands-free Bluetooth telephone, as well as your touch-sensitive reading lamps and interior illumination.
Up top are also your controls for your fully automatic sunroof as well as sunshade. A little wind deflector automatically pops up, whereas the front glass just positions itself over the rear. Now, as far as the mobile media system for Range Rover's application, it's pretty much identical to the same one used in the current generation Jaguar vehicles. As far as Range Rover's applications though, on either side you have touch-sensitive buttons that correspond to some of the main functions of it. If you hit that button right there, the home menu, it brings you back to this particular screen. Activating the vehicle's parallel parking feature, parking sensor activation, and activation of your stereoscopic cameras like I touched on earlier. Hitting this button right here goes between your different media modes. Audio video brings you to the audio video screen where you can also play DVDs. Of course, navigation, and your hands-free Bluetooth telephone. So if you want to click the link in the annotation below or the link in the description box below, it'll take you to a 2014 Jaguar XJ-RL that has the identical system, and I'll show you a little bit more about how the functions and features work in a little bit more of an in-depth fashion. As we continue down the center stack, the Range Rover features a standard quad-zone electronic automatic climate control with independent temperature adjustments for each of the 4 passengers. In the middle here, your temperature adjustment are located on either side, with little digital displays, as well as your fan speed in the middle. Max AC, recycling, defrost, as well as activating the front defrost. It's probably too fine to tell, but there's actually little elements embedded in the front windshield to help clear the ice off in inclement weather. Your automatic for either side. Click this to bring your climate control settings up in the touchscreen display so you can adjust them up there. And that button controls all of the functions of the seats, from the heating to ventilation, and even the optional massage feature, adjusting the intensity, as well as more. The rear seats are also heated and ventilated, and can also be controlled from the system. The very modern yet elegant interior, accented by the black piano lacquer coming across the center console, as well as brushed aluminum trim, highlighting the middle, as well as the upper air registers. 2 adjustable cup holders, as well as a ladder and/or power outlet. Like I touched on earlier, across the middle is your drive mode selector, traction control, auto start stop feature, as well as raising and lowering the vehicle. Automatic parking brake, pull up to activate, and put your foot on the brake, push down to deactivate. In the leather wrapped center console, it also has a modest amount of space, houses your USB and media inputs, as well as auxiliary, an extra power outlet, not to mention an optional refrigerated cool box. Just make sure the switch is flipped on, and it keeps items nice and chilled. It gets quite cold. Across your steering wheel, of course, you have your multifunction controls with your hands-free telephone and voice commands. Help.
Voice help. Voice commands are generally given in the following format: device, function, and setting. To give a command, briefly press the voice button and speak naturally after the tone. To cancel a voice session, press and hold the voice button. To reply to the voice system.
So it's a pretty simple system overall. You can control a variety of the systems from your telephone, navigation to your audio system. Heated steering wheel, cruise control, and your various radio controls with your driver information system also located there. When using the driver info system, you want to hit the OK button in the middle here. Brings up the different options, and then you can use the directional arrows, the same ones that you would use to control the radio. All of your safety monitoring, automatic high beams, trip computer, display settings, and other personalizable options. Your automatic rain sensing windshield wipers, as well as all of your lighting controls. Alrighty. Then shut her down. And we'll check out the back seat. Now, like I said earlier, the new Range Rover definitely benefits from an increase in rear seat space. For even more room, there's also a long wheelbase version for those longer-legged individuals. Just climbing on in is simple, with a nice wide door opening, and beautifully tight panels back here. The only downside to the sunshade for this panoramic roof that I would mention is that it hangs down instead of
rolls up or so it can kind of be a little bit of a nuisance if you have passengers sitting back here with it all the way back. Now, as far as overall passenger space, I'm around 5'11", and with a comfortable seating position for someone of my height in front of me, I probably have a good 6 inches of leg space, being that there's also a cutout in the back of the seats which give you a little bit more wiggle room. As far as headroom, probably 4 inches, give or take or so. But overall, comfort back here is quite nice. The seats are firm and supportive. Not a whole lot of lateral grip, but there is a lot of lower back support, which I can definitely appreciate. Legroom is also pretty good. You can stick your feet up under the seat a little bit more for a little bit more wiggle space, as there's not a whole lot of hardware. Also, with the Meridian surround sound system, you also have speakers mounted in the back of the seats here. So including this, the door speakers, and the other ones surrounded in the vehicle, it really immerses all of the passengers in the surround sound experience. Not a lot of vehicles can claim that, so it's definitely pretty unique. You'll also notice that this particular Range Rover also features the optional rear seat entertainment package with 2 LCD monitors mounted in the headrests. You have component inputs down below here, as well as an extra USB drive, so you can load up movies or play them off the system in the front. 2 power outlets down below, as well as your independent climate adjustment for the rear passengers, like I said, with the quad zone climate control setup. You also have 3-stage heated as well as ventilated seats for the back seats. You also have LED illumination up top. I'll show a close-up of that in just a second. You have the same leather-stitched accents coming across the sunroof, as well as the grip handles. You do have a coat hook here, as well as coat hooks on the B-pillars. Side curtain airbags for the rear passengers, as well as air vents located right on top of here to make sure your head is kept nice and cool. You can close the vents. There's also Bluetooth microphones in either of the top setups as well, so all 4 passengers can be heard equally when talking on the telephone. What's also cool, like I showed you in the front with the adjustable headrests that surround your neck, these back ones also do that, enhancing the long-term comfort. If you fold down the large middle armrest here, you have 2 cup holders, as well as a little storage pocket. Plus, there's enough space to fit 3 full-size adults back here. Now, being that the seats do have power adjustment, they don't slide back and forth, but what the Edge one does is increase the lumbar for the back and enhancing the lower back support. The other one simply reclines the seat. I mean, the amount of leather in the autobiography is absolutely amazing. I mean, just seeing it all over the headliner with the perforated accents, even the storage pockets on the back of the seats are lined in leather. It's just so much more of a premium feeling vehicle than you would expect from a Range Rover. I mean, a Range Rover is a premium vehicle, but this reminds me so much of the quality you would see in like a Bentley or an Aston Martin or something like that. Just the stitching and the details, how it all comes together. So I'll show you a few first-person clips, and then we'll check out the rest of the vehicle.
The Range Rover can seat up to 5 people, therefore it doesn't have a third row seat option. Rather, it has an impressive amount of cargo space for its size. The first thing that you'll notice is the split tailgate is entirely powered, making things quite simple. Behind the third row seat, you have around 32.1 cubic feet of cargo space. If more is desired, you can fold the seats via the buttons on the right-hand side. With everything opened up, space jumps to 71.7 cubic feet, making it plenty big to haul some medium-sized furniture or plenty of camping gear. There's LED lighting out back, a privacy cover, and even adjustable luggage barrier.
The passenger seat also features the same power adjustments that you would find on the driver's seat. There's also a 2-tier electronic actuated glove box. One up top and down below, with a good amount of storage combined.
With less weight, stellar build quality materials and technology, it's obvious that the Range Rover has evolved in a big way over the years. While improved greatly, it's still a tried and true Range Rover. From its commanding presence and driving position to its legendary off-road ability, the classic formula made famous over the past 4 decades is now ready to continue its reign over the luxury full-size segment.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2014 Range Rover Autobiography. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.